Not gonna say anything this time. Not gonna say anything this time, okay? I'm gonna be good.
Fair.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Lore Lodge official podcast. I am Aiden Mattis. This is Thorn Bussy. Luke, I saw your chat in the chat there pre-stream, and I actually might be coming back to Phoenixville because, fun fact, my apartment ceiling leaks in many places now.
Yeah, not great.
It'd be one thing, you know, if it was that it leaks. How are you higher up there? You're not taller than me. What is this?
Does your chair go higher?
Yeah, I think I just have it lower right now.
That's fair.
Anyway, my apartment's roof leaks, like a considerable amount, like a not insignificant amount of leakage.
It's not just that it leaks. It's where it leaks.
Yeah, it's just straight through the ceiling at this point.
No, but not just that. Where did it start? And where is it primarily leaking?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, the primary leak is from a lighting fixture. My lighting fixture has been leaking since I moved in, essentially. After that, it started leaking out of another lighting fixture.
Naturally.
And then through the ceiling. And now there are, what did we say? It looks like 7 identified leaks.
Yep, that's the number that you totaled it up to.
3 of them are not currently leaking. 3 of them are just slowly building up water behind the paint.
Naturally.
And will eventually begin to leak. But yeah, that's how my day is going. I woke up to hear. Usually I wake up to, you know, like, this was like, you know,
It was like a steel drum of raindrops, but just so much less comforting.
constant leaking, crazy, craziness.
Never fun.
But yeah, so that's how things are going. So I am probably going to be looking to move back to Phoenixville. You know, hoping I can find something. The prices over there are ridiculous at the moment. Today, though, today's show, you know, this is going to be about what we covered in Friday's video. I think that this is probably one of the first ones in a while that we've both kind of been like, this does not add up.
Nope, not at all. Not even in the slightest.
And a lot of people I did read through the comments, a lot of people suggested, hey, you know, maybe it was that he was relieving himself and had his pants down and got snuck up on. And I'm like, yeah, it's possible. That's the thing with this case, is that with the way everything happened, I think what we came down to is there's a lot of things that are possible. Mm-hmm. It's just every single one of them was so supremely unlikely.
Yep.
That it's almost not even worth following some of these trails. Like that, I mean, this is a guy who was out in the woods all the time. I'm pretty sure he knew how to, you know, take a dump without getting killed by a grizzly bear.
Well, that's the thing, is like the only logical explanation, quote unquote, that makes the most sense would be complacency. But everything, and you know, you could make the double-edged sword of like, he doesn't seem like the type of person that would get complacent. Then people would say, but that's the type of people that are complacent. It's like, yeah, but
based on the testimony from everybody that knew him, he was the kind of guy who every single hunt he went on was, he was never complacent. Now, of course, we do have the fact that the guy was into pranking and all that. But yeah, I'll go through the story. For those who haven't seen the video from Friday. For those who have seen the video from Friday, obviously there's a lot of biographical information about Bart. Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll cover all of that. I'll quickly go through his biography for this episode, but I more want to talk about, you know, some of the more conspiratorial aspect of this, because obviously we try to keep things as legit as possible in the recorded videos. On the show, I'm okay with conjecturing a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I'd also like to congratulate, by the way, the winner of the essay contest. I want to make sure I have this right. Yes, was Plaz for his essay on angels.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Congratulations, Plaz. You got that one. That was a fun episode to do. Made me feel like a professor.
And how did it feel to feel like a professor?
Weird. It was weird. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Good weird?
More like I need to be nice to people weird.
What do you mean?
No, I just like, you know, you try to not be like too hard on anybody, and I was like, all right, you know, this is for fun. I'm not going to give anybody a D.
Yeah.
Like,
yes. That's funny.
But yeah, that was a fun one. That was over on Twitch. For those of you who don't know, I stream on Twitch, usually about 2 nights a week.
Yep.
Varies depending on my school schedule, but that's over at twitch.tv/theaidenmattis if you want to check those out. But to get into today's stuff, Bart Schleyer, he like from youth is the kind of guy that is destined for a career in outdoorsman stuff. Like he from a very, very young age was obsessed with animals, was going around with his dad on hunting trips. His dad took him to Mozambique when he was 10 to go on safari. As he gets older, he becomes a state champion wrestler in high school. He gets a scholarship to go to Sheridan, where he studies wildlife management and the wildlife science. Then goes on to the State University of Montana, where he continues his education, gets a bachelor's, gets a master's, is noted as one of the best people ever to be in the program by one of his professors. Becomes friends with several different people. He's got his friend Glenn, who he hunts with as a kid, but then his sister Claudia meets the man she would eventually marry, a guy by the name of Jim. And Jim starts to teach Bart to bow hunt and notes that Bart quickly surpasses him. Like, he introduces him to it, he teaches him the ropes, and then far and away, Bart is the better archer within a very short span of time. Bart then goes on to meet a guy named Paul Schaefer. Paul kind of takes this up to the ante. They start going on really intense hunts together, hunting things like bear, moose, dangerous animals. And then he scores a Kodiak Island bear tag. So it's just kind of this constant progression of upward for Bart. He works for the U.S. Fish and Game Service, Fish and Wildlife, works on the interagency grizzly bear study team. So it's his job to, along with several other federal, state, and tribal agencies, track and radio collar grizzly bears. I remark in the video that he has the most dangerous kind of hunting job there is, which is to hunt the most dangerous predators alive and not kill them.
Which, obviously, yes, is about as dangerous as we get, but also probably the coolest as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, talk about one of just, like, the most guys jobs you could ask for.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I had no interest in family, that is probably what I'd go out and do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just get to spend weeks in the wilderness tracking bears. It sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
It's hard. Sounds like one of the hardest jobs you could possibly have.
Hard and dangerous, but so rewarding just being in nature and stuff like that, so I can imagine why he gravitated to it.
And based on all of the reports I have from his family, his friends, his coworkers, he was like the most genuine guy you could possibly find in this field. Excuse me. It's talking about somebody who was always willing to buy somebody dinner, always willing to share gear, take you with him on his trips. Basically anything anybody around him needed, he was generous with. Somebody even said, I'm trying to remember the exact person who said it, but there was somebody who said that he was actually generous to a fault. Like that he would give you the shirt off his back if it was freezing cold. He would forego self-preservation to help other people. So just one of the best people you could find. He also takes a quick couple of years. He goes over to Russia, Siberia in 1993 to track Siberian tigers, which are of course endangered, 11 feet long, 700 pounds, and move silently. Now they're orange, so that helps a little bit. I think the Siberian ones are orange, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, it's rare, but they do have the albino ones that are just black and white. But yeah, generally they get the orange.
So, just overall, guy is the apex predator is how I keep describing him, because like there are humans who, with the right tools, are dangerous. This is a guy who probably would have been dangerous with nothing but a pocket knife out in the wild. I mean, he used sinew from Siberian tiger kills. Like, he would come across a boar that a tiger killed and use the sinew from the boar in his bows. He would make his own bows. That is some primal stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
That is, like, that is video game stuff.
Yeah.
And he just did it. You know, day in and day out. That was his life. He goes over there, he tracks Siberian tigers. He's the guy that goes into the cave while the tiger's away and, you know, picks up the kitten, weighs it, checks its length, looks at its teeth, makes sure the kitten's doing okay, all before the parent gets back. I found an anecdote. He and a buddy were on the grizzly bear team at one point, and one of the collars showed that the bear that it was tracking had died, and it was in a cave. And they got to the cave, and the other guy's like, I'm not going in there. And Bart's like, okay. He goes in and by himself drags out a dead grizzly bear. And then they continued to carry it. He carried it back to the lab.
Yep.
So that they could perform the autopsy to see what killed this grizzly bear.
Just a man.
Mm-hmm. He's a guy that bow hunts grizzly bears.
Yep.
And I think what a lot of people fail to understand when they just sit there and listen to the story and think, and this is not, to dunk on anybody, but like to look at the circumstances of his death, which we'll get to the details in a moment, to look at the circumstances of his death and then say, oh, maybe it was something simple, like he was just taking a dump. This is a guy who survived this long doing what he did.
Yep.
Obviously, it's always possible for somebody to screw up. But he was not the type of guy to, like, just make a simple mistake and die as a result. There's also other confounding stuff about this that maybe I didn't cover well enough in the video. And didn't emphasize properly. But Bart is, like... I want to really drive that home, that he is the apex predator in this situation.
Yeah.
And then there is that trip in September of 2004, September 14th, I think, 2004, where Bart goes up to Reed Lakes in the Yukon. And I have to yell at you here because you used the wrong Reed Lakes in the video.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
That's actually more appropriate. This is how it looks to me normally.
Yep.
Also, Archie, come join us.
Trying to be subtle with it.
Come hither. Come, child.
Everybody wants the dog.
Yeah, I figured I'd show him off.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So...
The boy.
Bart Schleyer, apex predator, top of his game, best of the best, decides to go solo hunting for a moose in Reed Lakes, Yukon Territory, Canada. Yep. And this is another one of the stories where the Royal Canadian Mounted Police managed to screw up in every possible way. Mm-hmm. It's funny when you look at it, you're like, the internet really causing problems for law enforcement here.
Yep.
Because they couldn't just say, oh, it was this, this, and this. Sorry, guys. No, people were asking questions. Would you stop? Would you stop? Good boy. He's calm.
Yes. He's a good guy.
He goes up there, and something that kind of, I don't think, when I first heard the story, it was from Mr. Ballin. I then read some articles on it. Something I've definitely come across as I've done more and more of these cases, done the research, is that you cannot trust the summaries you get from a lot of these sites, like Strange Outdoors. A lot of them tell a good enough story, but there's details that get left out or details that are incorrect. What I found is that, first of all, the most important detail of all here, Bart only ate one meal at Reed Lakes.
Yep.
So he died that first day.
Do we know what the meal was?
No. But based on the reporting, it's not important what the meal was.
Fair.
So he died that first day. The reaction of the RCMP was, upon finding only one meal eaten, oh, well, maybe he just walked off to the highway and that's it. And some people commented that, the nearest settlement, Stort Crossing, is only like 15 miles away. You're close enough to the highway. There is no reason that should have been their first guess.
Yeah.
You want to get down?
15 miles in wilderness backcountry is a bit different than 15 miles in...
15 miles in wilderness backcountry, and he didn't bring any of his gear?
Yeah. And he got flown in.
Yeah. That's the other thing about Bart. If this kind of trip, if it was going to be manageable for him to walk out of there in an emergency...
He would have done it.
He probably would have walked in to make sure he could do it. Yeah. Instead, he chooses to fly in. Only the pilot actually knows his exact location, but he flies in. He sets up camp. He brings 3 Rubbermaid Action Packer crates. One's full of food, most of it canned, but not all of it. Sets up his tent, eats a meal, doesn't start a fire. So whatever the meal was, it was cold.
Yep.
Or it was like an MRE.
Yep.
And then it seems like his plan for the day was have some breakfast or lunch or whatever mealtime it was, go out and sit in the woods for a few hours. Nobody finds him when they first go searching. And part of the reason that's irritating to me and part of the reason I think it's weird and it suggests that the RCMP are not doing their jobs, is that they found his boat. He had an inflatable raft that he blew up and paddled about half a mile down the shoreline.
Yep.
They find that, and it's tied off. It's secure. Bart almost certainly was the guy that was in that boat.
Mm-hmm.
They say they looked around, but they found nothing. And they head back because the weather was deteriorating. Part of the problem there is that I looked at the weather reports. The weather was not deteriorating. It was sunny and like fairly warm the entire time.
Yeah.
They had that entire week, 0.1 inches of precipitation was the average per day. 0.1 inches. That's like a little rain cloud passed them by.
Yep.
So the RCMP did not do their jobs. It's simple as that.
Yep, clearly. The question is why?
Apathy.
That's what it seems like. It's unfortunate, but
I mean, it's either apathy or they deliberately tried not to investigate this. And given that Bart had no criminal history, was well liked in his community, there's really no reason that they would half-ass this.
Yep.
Unless it was a little bit more than just man went missing. Perhaps you can get a bit conspiratorial here. But I was not able to find, and it may be just because these are like, small groups that don't talk much. I wasn't able to find any native folklore from the local 2 tribes that are very close to this, within 30 miles, about any sort of thing in that area outside of the already known stories of things like the Wendigo and the Kashtaka and all that. Oh my god, my nose itches so bad right now.
I hear you.
Yeah. So, his friends are not satisfied. That's the issue here. His friends are like, we don't, that's not enough. What do you mean he's just gone?
Yeah.
What do you mean you feel like, maybe he just walked out of there? So his buddy Dib Williams contacts Wayne Curry, and they fly out. Wayne's a pilot. He flies them right down to Reed Lakes. They find the boat. They find his campsite. They go off into the woods, and 60 yards into the woods, they find Bart's gear. Not 60 yards into the woods after a week of searching. Not 60 yards into the woods and covered with brush. No, they checked his camp out the first day, didn't find anything, headed home, came back a second day, checked the camp, went to the boat, checked where the boat was, walked around a bit, found his bow and his arrows sitting straight up leaned against a tree, as well as a dry bag. Inside of that dry bag was some gear, some extra clothes, and food. Not canned food. The police come out the next day and do another search. They bring 12 people, conservation officers, Mounties, and volunteers. The police had said they were going to do an aerial search prior to this, like before his friends found that stuff. Police said they were going to do an aerial search, and everybody kind of went, why? What is an aerial search going to turn up in dense forest?
Yep.
How's that going to help anybody? And the RCMP kind of went, oh, just we'll find it. Next day, his friends find stuff.
Yep.
Police go out and they find his remains. Well, some of his remains. They find a partial skull. They're able to identify him based on dental records. And a smattering of bones. Not a full skeleton. Not laid out as if, there was a full skeleton and then something came and took pieces away.
Yep. Just
his skull, some bones on a patch of moss. They also find a completely undamaged baseball cap, a pair of shredded but still recognizable camouflage pants with nothing in them, and some scattered other belongings. But after 2 weeks, sorry, more than 2 weeks, he went missing. He died on September 14th or 15th. Probably the 14th. He had a meal there. He probably didn't land there and then not eat for an entire evening. So he had a meal there. Went out. September 14th. There was food in his pack. He seems to have died that first day. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, when they finally find his dry bag, there's food in it. Do you know why that's weird?
What's that?
Because bears will sniff out food.
Mm-hmm.
And they will break into your campsite to eat food.
Mm-hmm.
They will break into a bag, a crate. Basically, anything they can open, they will do it to get at food.
Yep.
So the likelihood that a bear killed Bart and ate him and then didn't go back for his food is astonishingly low.
Yep.
The fact that a bear did not kill him, eat him, and then take his food from any of the containers, also weird. And the fact of the matter is, if Bart went up there with a container of food, he probably assumed either there's not going to be bears in this area,
Mm-hmm.
and he would have done the research to know that, or he figured that the containers were adequate to prevent a bear from sniffing it out. It's one of the two things.
Yeah.
It's probably thought the containers were adequate. The thing is, the containers, while adequate, possibly adequate to keep a bear out or to keep it from smelling the food, that doesn't explain the dry bag.
No.
The only thing that explains the dry bag is that there was no bear there. But there was a bear there. Because they found bear scat.
Mm.
So why didn't the bear eat what was in the dry bag?
I mean, the only challenge to it is because it got a big enough meal with him.
That would be a possibility. Bears do save their leftovers. They put them in things called caches. That's another problem here. There was no cache.
Yep.
So usually when a bear kills somebody, if there are leftovers, it will bury them. And with a guy Bart's size, there were probably leftovers. We'll keep them there so it can come back for more. It'll crack open the bones. It'll eat the various other bits. But they didn't find that. And the state of decomposition for Bart's body suggests that he was eaten.
What time of year was this as well?
September.
Okay.
Late September. Why didn't the bear eat what was in the dry bag? Why didn't the bear go back to his camp and eat what was in the crates? Why was there no cache? Why did none of the scat samples contain any of Bart's clothes? And why was only part of Bart's body there? What happened to Bart?
Yep.
I am always like one to say I'm not an expert on this.
Yep.
So I don't know for sure. But I was reading what the experts said, and I couldn't find anybody whose job it was to deal with bears
Yep.
who was confident that this was a bear.
Yep.
In fact, more than anything, it seemed like all the people whose job it was to track bears were confident that this was not a bear. His name was Kevin Johnstone, who was a Yukon conservation officer, said that it did not have the characteristics of a bear kill, and that the method of death was uncertain. They didn't know how. Could not figure out what did it to him. Nobody had any ideas for what could have done it to him. They thought bear and they thought wolf. They found both bear and wolf droppings.
Mm-hmm.
None of them contained any of Bart's genetic material, his clothes, anything. Some contained bone fragments, and they sent those off for a lab, but based on the fact that Bart was not... Had those samples turned up that it was Bart's bone material,
Yep.
then you could at the very least say a bear did eat him, if not a bear killed him.
Yep.
But there doesn't appear to be any trace of Bart in those stool samples. So, if the bear in that region, or the bears, didn't kill him, and the wolves in that region didn't kill him,
Yep. What did?
what did? And this was kind of the process I had going through the whole case, was every single time I'd come across, oh, well, maybe it was this. No. It's almost certain that it was not a bear.
Yep.
That's the weirder thing here. Is there's not just a lack of evidence that it was something else, or there's not a lack of evidence that it was a bear. All of the evidence suggests it was not a bear. So I started looking at the other possibilities. There are a lot of stories about something off in those woods that is not a normal predator, that is not a bear, a wolf, that is something more than that. And while I couldn't find anything super specific to Reed Lakes, if you look at the area and you look at the legends that come out of these Native American tribes, you get a lot of stuff that matches the Wendigo. You get a lot of stuff that matches some sort of humanoid, super fast, super strong creature that likes to eat people.
Mm.
Behavior also is kind of similar to a human.
Yep.
Or, something along those lines. Something like us. Now, it does imply that it's something that is not advanced. Something that doesn't use weapons. Because if it were a person, it probably would have taken his bow and arrows.
Why not?
Why not? Especially a primitive kind of person.
Yeah.
He didn't have a rifle.
I thought it was a rifle and his bow leaned up against the tree.
His bow and arrows.
Got it.
Bow, arrows, dry bag. And it didn't look like his dry bag had been messed with. That was probably the weirdest part of all of this for me, is that none of that had been disturbed at all.
Mm.
His campsite had been knocked down.
Yep.
When his friends got there. It seems like it wasn't when the police got there, which is weird. So they weren't totally sure what happened.
Yep.
I am curious if the police are the ones who knocked everything down. I'm curious if the police are the people who set the bow and arrow where they were.
Maybe.
To just kind of... I gotta wonder if they tried to just make this go away and it screwed with everything.
Yep.
Which is not supernatural. It's not paranormal, but it, at the very least, is still weird.
At the very least, corrupt, yeah.
Yeah, so did the RCM... Were they trying to avoid another Valley of Headless Men? Maybe. They're not that far from it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at where the Nahanni River Preserve is, it's only a couple hundred miles east of here.
Yep.
To the west, you, of course, have Alaska. Do you want to take a look at exactly how far it is?
Yep, that's what I'm going to try.
I mean, it's going to give you, like... There's probably literally no way to get there. Yeah, because it's in the forest. You're going to have to look from Stewart Crossing. But that would be by road.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at where it is, like, here, if you right-click, you can draw the as the crow flies distance. So we're...
Measure distance.
And then just go to Reed Lakes. So as the crow flies, it's...
Exactly 200 miles.
No, that's more than 200 miles. That's 400 miles.
Oh, wait, hang on, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
437.38.
437 miles. So, in my opinion, that's too far for whatever was messing around in the Nahanni River Valley.
Yeah.
Unless it left and went west, whatever was going on there, which a lot of people have suggested was maybe a uncontacted tribe. Or something along those lines, which the behavior does match uncontacted tribes. When you go into like the Amazon or North Sentinel Island, the behavior does match for what was going on in Nahanni.
Yeah.
My opinion about Nahanni is still uncontacted tribe. And possibly one that left. And if you think about the timing for it, when it stops, when you stop hearing these stories,
yep,
it's like 1946 is the last one until you get to the one that was in 2005.
Yep.
But I look at the case of Bart Schleyer, and then I look at cases like those two guys in Nahanni. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but they were the 2005 ones.
Right.
Because the timing works.
Yep.
I just can't figure out what the link is. Because they're far away from each other. They're 430 miles away from each other. The two people at Nahanni, two men, had very different cause of death. Like, their bodies were intact. They couldn't necessarily determine why they left the cabin.
Yep.
But I wonder what's going on up in Canada that is causing people to die under mysterious circumstances out in the woods.
Maybe, I mean, if we're going with the uncontacted tribe thing, then maybe part of the reason, if we're going to assume that that is the reason, it may make sense given the fact that RCMP didn't want to spend time out there because they didn't want to have to, even if they weren't totally sure that was the case, maybe they may be aware of it and they just don't want to put themselves at risk.
Or they're trying to avoid a bunch of people showing up. and
Fair.
looking into themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's I've been doing research for next week's video, and it's what I'm running into is that the FBI simply seems to have not been interested in looking after it. So I wonder how much of it's laziness, because this could have been the same thing with the RCMP, that they were just being lazy.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, read again. You're gonna need to watch the full video to get the full information on it. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm coming to the conclusion that this has to have been a person.
Yeah.
Now, a modern person, maybe something less than that seems more likely, because again, a modern person probably would have raided the camp, probably would have taken his stuff.
I mean, more than likely, yeah.
So what else is out there? Well, it's a big area. We do have these stories from the south, not too far south of here, but if you scroll down a little bit, so down here, down in the coast of British Columbia and southeastern Alaska, you have stories of the Kushtaka, which is an anthropomorphic otter.
Yep.
It's a man who transforms into an otter and back. And the way that they attract people, and this is why I wonder, you know, could something along these lines have something to do with Bart, is that traditionally, and again, this is Native American folklore, I'm not saying this is fact, I just want to, you know, like, just so you guys know.
Yep.
The way that it attracts people is it cries out in either the voice of a distressed woman or a child. And then leads you to the river, and then pulls you into it, drowns you, and rips you apart and eats you.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And then, of course, in Nahani, we have these stories of, you know, pale-faced demons, which, again, only attested to by one guy,
Yep.
and a white guy, but he claims that the natives told him about it.
Yep.
You got the disappearing Naha tribe.
Yep.
You've got sheep skeletons in weird places. Enough to suggest that maybe something is going on there, and that there likely would be native legends associated with it. I'm just having trouble finding them because a lot of them aren't written down. A lot of them won't talk about it outside of it because they're worried about white people laughing at them and not taking them seriously and treating them as lesser.
Yep.
Which I get, because that was done for a long time. But they don't quite always recognize, like, oh, this is a person who's genuinely curious about our stories.
Yep.
And then when you do get that with the guy J.W. Burns from the Sasket video we did. But just, you know, to the south of that, you've got the Sasket. You've got these stories of large, hairy wild men living off in the forests in British Columbia. Well, if there's large, hairy wild men living in the forests out of British Columbia, maybe there's large, hairy wild men just a few hundred miles north in Yukon.
You know, it's not a far stretch.
It's not a far stretch. And I'm not saying it's, you know, something super paranormal. I'm just saying maybe it's something we don't know about yet.
Yep.
You know, I'm not saying it's Bigfoot. I'm not saying it's not Bigfoot. But if there were ever something that you were going to look at it and be like, that was Bigfoot, this seems like the kind of thing.
You would think, yeah.
I mean, there's no evidence that it's a bear. There's no evidence that it was wolves. Mountain lions are extremely rare up there, and still mountain lions will drag their kills into a den
Yep.
and eat them there. None of the you had a list of predators up. Can you pull it up again?
I did, yeah. Hang on, I can pull it up real quick.
He's going to pull up a list of predators that are native to the Yukon, or at least common.
Yep.
Can you read them?
Yes, I can. We've got, let me just scroll up, make sure I'm not missing anything. Cool, yeah. So
I think we can ignore fish.
I think so too. Yeah, we got American black bear, grizzly bear, and polar bears. And
Polar bears are, of course, the northern Yukon. We're
Yep.
talking about central Yukon.
Yep. And then with mammals, we have canines of Arctic fox, red fox, coyote, and gray wolf.
Mm-hmm. You say coyote?
Some people say coyote, some people say coyote. I hear them both ways, so sometimes I just mix it up. And then I mean, we're not really
rodents?
gonna count
Was he
rodents.
killed by a beaver?
Probably not, or a lemming.
a
I mean, elk, moose, wood bites.
moose could absolutely kill you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't explain the rest of it.
No.
Although a moose killing him and then scavengers, he was hunting moose.
Yeah,
But he probably wouldn't have approached a moose without his bow.
correct.
And there was no sign that he had been gored by a moose. A moose would leave a mess.
Oh God,
That's the thing, is like, if he was killed by a moose,
scavengers
it
would leave a mess.
Yeah, but his remains were like neatly not like, it's not like they were in a pile,
Yeah,
but they were all in this patch of moss,
yeah,
which does not appear to be where he was when he died.
yeah.
Because one of the theories, which is that he was snuck up on by some sort of animal, Well, if that had happened, then he would have died next to his bag.
Yep.
He didn't.
There are also the Canada lynx and cougars up there as well.
Cougar and mountain lion.
Same thing, basically, yeah.
They are the same thing. Nobody suggested, none of the wildlife officers suggested would either of those things, though.
Yep.
And I think part of the reason is that they were looking for scat, which is how you tell if something was recently in the region.
Yep. Also, this directly says about cougars in the Yukon. They say best chance to see a cougar is in the southern Yukon near the BC border or near the Brayburn elk herd. You know, it's
so they basically, you're only going to find them in the southern Yukon or tracing a specific elk herd.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just there's nothing there. They didn't find scat for other animals, other large animals at least.
Nope.
The moose aren't going to charge a random guy sitting on a log near a tree.
Yep.
I mean, they might, but there probably would have been a sign of that, and his bow and arrows wouldn't have been neatly resting against the tree. They would have been down somewhere. That's the other thing, is like, if he was attacked sitting on that dry bag, he probably would have gone to grab one of the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
If he was being attacked if he was concerned he was about to be attacked, he would have had his bow.
Yep.
They didn't find they didn't find a knife.
Weird.
Which is interesting, because he definitely would have had one.
Yeah.
They also didn't find most of his clothing.
Also weird.
Right? So they didn't find his knife. They didn't find most of his clothing. What would take his clothing, but not his bow and arrow?
Yeah. Weird.
But would take his knife.
And not take his food.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't seem that there was nothing suggesting that there was nothing notable about the bones. It wasn't like they were all leg bones or they were all torso bones. It was just an assortment of bones.
Yep.
There's no interesting details about the bones. The bones don't suggest anything. If it were just leg bones, that would imply that something dragged his torso off.
Yep.
If it were just his torso bones, that would imply something dragged his legs off. But it doesn't. There were bones from his legs, his torso, his feet, all of it sitting in this pile. His pants were ripped up and not on the bones.
Yep.
I am at a loss.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense.
And the behavior of the police just throws me for a loop even more, because it seems like they were just trying to get it to go away.
Yeah.
Which means you have to ask the question, why would the police want this to just go away? Why would they not, why not chase it? Why not try and figure out what it was? Why didn't other people go out and try and figure out it's kind of hard to reach, don't get me wrong. But it seems like they wanted to avoid putting any sort of effort into this.
No.
Maybe it was a funding issue. Maybe it was that simple. Or maybe this is a pattern. Because it's really starting to look like a pattern.
Yeah.
And as I read through the ones in U.S. national parks and Canadian national parks, they really do mirror each other a lot. What's the likelihood that both American federal agencies and Canadian federal agencies are just randomly being ineffective about this specific kind of thing? Maybe they don't have the resources for it, but then you got to ask, why have they not dedicated the resources to it?
No.
If we're on this kind of this line of thinking of, if it saves just one life, as we were throughout the whole COVID pandemic, then this would be an if it saves just one life thing. And the thing is, this is like training your rangers to know how to track this stuff and know how to deal with it.
Yep.
Isn't just going to save a few lives of these weird catastrophic cases like Bart. It's also going to make you a lot more effective at finding less important missing persons cases.
Yeah.
If somebody loses their kid and it's in a very small general area, you're going to find the kid a lot faster.
Oh, yeah.
So if you make sure everybody's training is up to a higher standard, it's just going to improve the force.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that that's the reason they're not doing it.
It'd be a shame if it was.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of the few cases we come across where I sit here and I'm like, you know what? Yeah. If anything supernatural, if we have ever covered something that did not have a rational, logical explanation, this is one of those.
Yep.
The state of his body, the location of his belongings, the fact that none of his stuff was disturbed after he died. The only thing that seems to have been messed with is his physical body.
Yep.
bear would have ripped open the dry bag. Bear would have eaten him where he was and then
Yep.
stored the body. It's not a bear. Pack of wolves would have devoured the thing, but then would have left the bones where they were. Mountain lions are extremely rare and also would not have behaved this way. They would have dragged him into a den or just eaten him where he was. We're now out of predators.
Yep. Officially.
We are officially out of predators at that point. There is nothing there that could have done this. Which only leaves people. And if it was a person, first of all, why? Like, what's the motive? If we're gonna walk this through, because we have established that this was not a known predator in the area, or if it was a known predator in the area, it was behaving completely out of character.
Yep.
So it probably wasn't one of those.
Yep.
What's next? Humans. Nearest settlement is Stork Crossing, about 14 miles away. The highway is also about 14 miles away. You can go check me on that if you want to. Whoever it was, Bart must have not known they were there. There must have been no planned trips out there because the police would have found that, assuming they actually bothered to check. And I can't imagine they didn't check that.
Do we happen to know which of the Reed Lakes he was at?
He was at that one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll measure the distance.
That's close enough. We just need a vague mileage here.
About 6.
6 miles?
Yep.
And now scroll to where it's on this side of the river. No. Like here. So zoom out.
I get what you're saying.
The Stork Crossing. Yeah. So Stork Crossing is the first place where the highway is on the same side of the river as Reed Lakes.
Yep.
And it's
15 miles.
15 miles away.
Yeah,
So
if you want to cross a river,
if you want to cross a
6
river,
miles.
it's 6 miles to the highway. It's 15 miles to the highway if you don't want to cross a river.
and crossing, I mean, that looks like a pretty darn big river.
That is not a small river, no.
Yep.
Like,
Well, I can tell you right now. Hang on, let's measure the distance across right here of the river. Of this guy here.
so to cross the river is almost 1,000 feet.
Yep.
In rapid water. That is not a slow river. That's like crossing. That would be like swimming across the Schuylkill.
Yep.
In
September in the Yukon, no thanks.
Yeah. Like the air was in the 30s and 40s.
Yep.
The water, not something you're going to do.
Nope.
So if a person did this, either the person was already there or they traveled from Stork Crossing. Now, if they were there because Bart was there, if they weren't there before him,
Yep.
that means they hiked from Stork Crossing 15 miles away to Bart's location in the time between him being dropped off and him dying later that same day. I don't think that's even possible. Through that kind of forest with no trails, you're talking like 1 mile an hour.
Yep.
Maybe 2, and that's still 7.5 hours it's going to take you. And then you have to sneak up on a guy whose job it is to hunt Siberian tigers and not kill them.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
That is simply not what happened. So that leaves one further alternative, which is that it was somebody who was already there.
Yep.
That either means that somebody planned to kill Bart, that the plane pilot was in on it,
Yep.
and that nobody suspected this was a homicide.
Yep.
Huh? Either this was a professional hit done by somebody in the government, or that's not what happened.
Yep.
I guess it's possible there was another hunter in the area who just decided to kill Bart, savagely tear his body apart, and then hide his clothes, but not his bow and arrow, and didn't take any of his supplies.
I mean, that scenario in and of itself is just already so far-fetched.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
No.
So then, if you finally get over to the final option here that isn't supernatural, you've got there's somebody that lives out there and killed Bart. But they didn't find the evidence of that either. No structures anywhere near where he died. Anywhere within an area that would be reasonable, at least.
Yeah.
No structures. No sign of human habitation. No human materials. No evidence. which means if it is a human, it is a human that lives in the wild. And we simply don't do that. Like, I mean, to live in the wild in the Yukon to adulthood, you would need a structure.
Oh God,
you would
yeah.
need clothes. You would
Yeah.
so they would have found something out there, and nobody did. Nobody has. So there's one type of situation where humans can survive in that kind of weather without clothing or without, the accoutrements of modern living.
Yep.
And it's when they are born and raised out there. There was a case of a kid in France in the 1800s, I want to say, who was raised out, basically by wild animals and did not seem to respond to cold air.
Interesting. So
if you're born and raised out there, and this is why people who are from Siberia are far, far less bothered by cold weather. This is why Canadians are less bothered by cold weather. It's why people who are born and raised in the desert are less bothered by hot weather and more bothered by cold weather.
Yep.
The most plausible scenario here seems to be that he was killed by people who live out there and are not known to us. What are you looking at?
I was just looking at, just in case anybody was curious about the polar bear option on the Yukon website.
I assume they would be at the very, very far north edge of
It says that Herschel Island Territorial Park is just about the only place you'll be able to spot a polar bear in the Yukon.
And that's like 2,000 miles north?
It's 429.
Gotcha.
But
yeah. I have a warped perspective on how long Canada is to the north because of the way maps work.
Yeah. This.
Yeah, so it's about as far. A polar bear is as likely as whatever's in Nahani.
Yep.
I just have no idea. There's nothing to suggest what it could be. The nearest major settlement is Dawson City.
Yep, and that's
still
87 miles.
Yeah, it's just there's nothing it could be. But that's what's weird about this one is there's really no rational explanation, but there's also not really any reason to believe it was something supernatural.
Yep.
There's no good option here.
Nope.
Nothing that hits a majority of points to make sense. Basically everything is these one or two things indicate this, but a vast number of things suggest the opposite. So, with that said, I think it's time to go to questions.
I think so.
Do you want to let everybody know that we have revamped the way we do this? That we've come up with new goals?
So, we're bringing back the donation goals for those who were around when those were actually a thing.
And we do have a list of the ones that you guys actually hit that haven't been done yet, and we are working on it.
Yes, but the current ones, as of right now, I will say we've technically already hit the first one.
Yes.
So
we raised the prices a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because we used to consistently hit around $500 in super chats a month, and you guys hit 1,000 last week.
Yep. So we gotta keep up with you guys. So the first one for 1,000 is Mattis and I will buy the inflatable sumo suits, and we will have a sumo inflatable fight.
Yes.
That we will video and we will put up on the Deeper Lore channel. For those of you who aren't aware, we have...
And to be honest, I think we could recruit more people to be involved. We could have a whole sumo tournament.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can make a whole tournament video if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
But so those who may not know, we have a couple, actually a number of new channels that are happening in this year. One of them is the Lore Lodge : Deeper Lore, and that's really just going to be kind of our miscellaneous channel where we'll post videos of these challenges and random things that we're going to do. It's basically us just having fun.
Yep.
In addition to the Weird Bible channel and the History Hut channel, which will be having a video for the first time this Tuesday.
Yes.
It's going up, so that'll be nice and fun. But so the $1,000 goal is the sumo, inflatable sumo fight. 1,500 is that we bring back Lore Lounge.
Yes.
It'll be us and Kat will probably come back as well, and
bring around some of our other friends.
Exactly.
It'll basically be a show where we chill, have some of the Phoenixville people around. We'll probably bring I'll try and bring PJ on.
Yeah,
Phil.
yeah. It'll just be a revolving door of fun people we hang with.
Yeah, drag Mikey up here.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You'd probably meet a lot of the people I Twitch stream with.
Yes.
And a lot of the people I play music with and stuff like that. We would just basically sit around this table with drinks.
Yep.
And hang out and talk about stuff.
Yeah.
It would just be a chill show. It'd be Saturday nights.
So, and then for 2000, we will be doing a CSI Miami spoof skit. So,
which will actually lead into another thing where we have to film. But
yes.
The gist will be that somebody was killed.
Yes.
And we are going to make a bunch of just horrible puns while ripping off our sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
If you've seen the Changing Channels episode of Supernatural, it will be precisely like that.
Yep.
Except it will be followed by a skit we actually have to do that you guys hit the goal for.
Yes.
A while ago, which is that we would put the Wendigo on trial. So this would be the CSI skit would be us discovering the body and determining what happened.
Yep.
And then you get a Law and Order style skit where we're putting the Wendigo on trial.
Yes.
And maybe we do Orange is the New Black with the Wendigo in prison.
Oh my god. Can I do a closing argument like Alan Shore style? I want to be one of the lawyers.
We will have to ask them when we get to it, but it could be either Law and Order style or My Cousin Vinny style.
I want to do Boston legal style.
Now I need you to understand that these Utes were murdered by the Wendigo.
We'll just do an amalgamation of a bunch of different ones. It'll be like one character from each thing. Oh, that'll be great.
Somebody's Atticus Finch, the other is Vinny.
Yes. All right, so that's a thing that you guys can get us towards. And then
Kill a mocking pussy.
Oh my god. Why did you do that? You get upset when you no, no, you don't, but you know what I mean. You've done this to yourself.
I know.
And then 2500 is going to be Mattis and I do a 24-hour stream on his Twitch channel, which he streams on a couple times a week.
We would do it here, but it would probably just wreck the algorithm.
Yeah.
Although I guess alternatively we could do it on Deeper Lore. If we have live stream by then.
Yeah, true.
If we have live stream capabilities on the Deeper Lore channel by then, we'll do it there. But
if we could get Isaiah as the Wendigo, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be funny as hell.
Or if at the very least we get him for a skit where we're interviewing witnesses and everything, and he's like, no, I'm Wendigoon.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for the Wendigo.
Yeah, he's like
it could be something as simple as us having him film himself picking up the phone and be like, no, you're thinking of the Wendigo. I'm Wendigoon.
Yeah.
We can. I'm sure he'd do that. He'd be down for it.
He comes on as like a professional witness or whatever, and he's like, and like everybody like starts like, and you wondered where you were in the woods, but he was like, you called me here for my testimony. I am not being charged. And it's like, oh, that's right, my bad. So then that's a $2,500 one, and then the $5,000 one to really just throw it out there.
You really want to go for this one, guys.
The Frosted Tips return.
For those who weren't here, for a period of 4 to 5 months last year, I had frosted tips as a result of this channel.
Yep.
I will dye them. I will dye my hair a color of your choice.
Yes.
And I will keep it for 2 weeks.
There you go.
I will not do it until it grows out like last time. It will be a period of 2 weeks. But I will be doing that. But that's only if you guys manage to hit 500,000, which
everybody's
do that.
Everybody's already.
That's not gonna happen. Don't tell Isaiah. Not after last time. And of course, we are both consistently hitting the gym now, so that we can bring you a 2024 sexy Lore Lodge calendar.
Yeah, we're working our way.
We wanted to do 2023, but we took a good long look in the mirror.
We need
and determined that would not be good for anybody.
We're not going to be proud of this calendar, but we just don't want to be ashamed of it.
Exactly. I might be a little proud of it.
It depends
not
on how long
because of anything here, just I think it's hilarious.
Well, fair.
But
yes, so those are our goals. Us having a sumo suit fight. We bring back Lore Lounge. The CSI Miami spoof skit. We have a 24-hour stream together. Mm-hmm. And the dyeing of the hair to bring back the frosted tips.
Yeah. Jeez.
And then I have another one for March, but we'll save that for later.
Purple frosted tips, please. Oh, God. But yeah, I guess now it's time to go to Super Chats.
Yes, I will queue those up currently.
Also, I mean, I'll figure I'll pull it over here.
Oh yeah, might as well show it off.
We received this in the mail today.
Yes. It's here.
Ka-chow.
We did it.
We done did it.
We did it, ladies and gentlemen.
We got the plaque.
All thanks to you.
I will tell you, I'm pretty sure it's made of aluminum.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
99% sure it's aluminum and not silver. But
Yeah.
an aluminum plaque doesn't sound as cool.
No. I don't think they'd give us a silver plaque.
If we brought this to a silversmith, though.
Yeah.
Actually, we could probably bring this to, like, somebody who does metalworking and have them, like, put all sorts of cool, intricate designs on it.
True. Yeah. They could probably engrave the logo.
True.
Like embossed or whatever behind it. That could be cool.
All right.
So the first one from today is $5 from Ryan Whitcup. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Adussies, keep me awake on my 3-hour drive. Been awake for 26 hours. Glad I can make a full stream. Y'all make 10 out of 10 content, and I only simp for you.
Why are you driving?
First of all, I love you. Second of all, stop it. Get some help.
Take a nap, my guy.
Yeah. I will say I can't blame you. The longest stretch I ever did behind the wheel was 22 hours from where we live around Phoenixville to Lawrence, Kansas. Tough. Well done, though. Next is from Holloway Outdoors for $5. Thank you. Says, finally able to catch a live for a minute. Love y'all's content. Have been binging and rewatching it for a few weeks now. We love to hear it. Thank you so much. What are you? What?
I was checking something.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I looked over and saw Gritty, and I was like, "What is happening?"
I have been informed that in the thumbnail,
Yes,
I spelled unknown wrong.
you known,
Yeah,
you known,
unknown.
known. All right,
I'll
next,
fix it.
Agamemnon's gym bag.
Somebody's never read the Iliad.
Nope, nope, never had to.
Oh, you're a little special needs student.
It's on my shelf to read though. US dollars $10 could have just said that. Here's what Alex Jones said, and his Fed buddies don't want you to know. Atlantis still exists today, and it's called Dubuque.
Dubuque?
Dubuque?
Is that supposed to be Dubuque?
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 I have no idea what's going on
It's
here.
the book.
Okay.
Aquafan $4.99. I honestly
Wait,
only...
Alex Jones and his Fed buddies? I like how we totally missed that part. Like, Alex Jones, well known for being buddies with the Feds.
Yes. Explains so much. He's a plant. Aquafan for $4.99 said, I honestly only sub to you guys for your Weird Bible podcast, but after watching the other videos, I genuinely enjoy your content. I'm glad I subscribed. And we're glad you did too.
Thank you.
We're glad you're liking it so much that you're popping by for the lives. Matthew Moody for $5 said, Ave true to
Ave.
Floofy. Ave true to Floofy.
Yes. He's hailing the fluff.
Got it. Okay.
Come here. Come on. Come join us. Good boy. Come on.
Norberto Rodriguez Jr. for $2 said, must have seen something he wasn't supposed to see.
Possibly.
It's very possible. Kellen, the official data from $9.99 said, so food, even canned, was left unattended for 2 weeks and nothing disturbed it with no scent of fire to dissuade animals, and that not all was canned is very suspicious in my book. Your thoughts? Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's extremely strange. Like, if it had all been canned food, that would be one thing, but it was not all canned food, and even if it was canned food.
Yeah. Young Volio has 3 in a row for us for 2010 and 10. First off said, it was Man Bear Pig.
Oh, I mean, of course it was. Al Gore told us all about him.
Exactly. Secondly, this was in Canada? Then it was Justin Trudeau then. Honestly, probably the most likely
I was mostly
scenario.
concerned about actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
True, that's a good point.
The man's name means Shia the Beef.
True. And then another one saying, if he's saying he's not saying it's Bigfoot, it's definitely Bigfoot. Fair.
With most people who talk about Bigfoot, that is a reasonable assumption.
That's
actually.
a very good point.
If somebody says, I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, they're probably saying it's Bigfoot.
Yeah. Spoon for $4.99 said, Dono Gold, eat dried tarantula on stream? ? Love you guys.
I'd rather die. I would rather go looking for Bart Schleyer in person.
Dono Gold, look for Bart Schleyer in person. Young Volio again for $5 said, Donegal eat a live tarantula.
Missing
on stream.
persons investigation gone wrong.
Gone
sexual?
Yes.
Oh god, no.
Cover your ears, Archie.
He's like 28. He's 4.
Yeah, fair.
He's older than us.
He's starting to give that, like, wise old man stare.
I think that's a nothing going on in his head stare, actually.
Could be a little bit of both.
He is not reacting to your hand at all.
No, I know. It's incredible. No, he just wants to be pet.
Simba.
Yeah, Young Volio for $5 said, Donegal eat a live tarantula on stream, then?
No! This isn't Fear Factor. I'm not Joe Rogan. Actually, Joe Rogan didn't do the stuff on Fear
he
Factor.
just talked about it. Yeah.
Joe Rogan literally just, his entire job was to be like, you have to do this horrible thing. Oh my god, they're actually doing it.
Yep.
That was his whole job.
His entire life's just been talking about things.
Yep. Man has the best job ever.
Literally.
Sits in a studio drinking bourbon, smoking cigars, and asking people about stuff.
Asking people if they've done DMT.
We just start a show where all I do is ask people if they've done DMT.
Yep. That's just the JRE podcast. Slippery Cheezel for $10 said, I just want
To be
start...
clear, we like Joe. We think Joe's got a good show.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we aspire to have a show as good as Joe's show.
But it's not possible. But we're going to try. We're going to try nonetheless.
Top podcast in the world.
Just want to start by saying I'm a huge fan. My question is, do you think maybe the authorities could have been covering it up because of a wild animal they want to keep hidden from the public? Quite possibly.
I mean, that's kind of been the argument about the national parks the whole time, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, is it that they're aware of something? Because the government does this all the time. They discover things, and then they don't tell people until they've had time to prime the public for it.
Yep.
That's why, like, a lot of stuff gets released. A lot of secret stuff gets released over time.
Yep.
But once the public has already kind of accepted it. So, for example, you know, with, like, the stuff that came out in the Panama Papers and the CIA basically just kind of accepting that, yeah, they killed Kennedy.
Yep.
They've kind of stopped just fighting that one.
Yep.
Over time, they'll like prime the public for it. Sometimes they'll make it seem like they're pushing back on it just so people like accept it more and more.
Yep.
You know, Tom DeLonge claims that the Pentagon hired him to use Blink-182 and Angels and Airwaves to like tell people that aliens are real. So now whether or not that's true is up for debate. Nobody's managed to like prove that he's wrong.
Yeah.
So, but you know, they'll do that kind of thing. They will prime you for information.
Young Volio for $5 said he tried to link up to Wayne Dagoon's Wi-Fi and clipped through the map. Which is like just great. Because, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Wendigoon didn't shift into a separate dimension during Weird Bible.
Honestly, it seemed like he was halfway in.
Yeah.
Again, Young Volio for $2 said, recreate the hike, I'm not convinced. Well, I mean...
Recreate the hike?
New dono goal, $50,000, and we'll recreate Bart Schleyer's hike.
It's not a very far hike from where he was. It's a 60-yard hike, apparently. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Unless you mean the one from Stewart Crossing to there, which honestly would probably be a fun hike, but
yeah,
it would also be extremely difficult.
It would be.
We can't afford to do that. We'd have to pay to fly to Canada.
Yep. That's why it's as much as it would be. Plaz for $5 said, Bart clipped through the ground like a Skyrim glitch and it ejected his skull.
All right, to be fair, the Ejected Skull is a metal band name.
Oh my god, you're right. You're so right. This Sunday, the Ejected Skull.
Pity for the Gourd when we do heavy music.
Yes.
Ejected Skull.
Oh my god. So good. John Hasegawa, there we go. I hope that I did that right. For $4.99 said, at work, so can't stick around, but really glad for you guys and how the channel is growing. Keep up the great work, Aiden.
Aw, thank you.
Thanks so much. Saying thank you, knowing you probably aren't still here because you were busy at work, but I hope you see this at some point.
June might come back.
Yeah. Nick Rogers for $4.39. I love that you had to choose specifically $4.39. That wasn't a listed choice, I'd imagine. So I love that you really.
And if it was,
yeah, if it was, why? Let us know. Hypothermia, spontaneous combustion, then scavenger. Well, that's a lot of interesting things happening at once.
It wasn't that cold. I think I said in the video the coldest that the average temperature got was like 26 degrees. But that was after he was already dead.
Yeah, fair.
The day that he died, it was actually pretty warm. It was like 60 degrees.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Plaz for $5 said, I know you're not a huge anime fan, but a legit recommendation for you is Vinland Saga. Fairly accurate Viking historical fiction, banger fights, and a killer opening theme.
New $2,500 dono goal. I watch anime. I get strapped to a chair and I have to watch anime.
I'll put droplets in your eyes like in the Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork anime?
Yeah. That's a new Twitch. That's our $2,500 for next month.
Yeah.
Young Volio said, dono goal, find Bigfoot.
Bro, they've been trying.
That's David Paulides' whole like job. Like that's what he's doing. Fair enough. Keep at it, King. Dan Little.
Also, a lot of people like seem to think that we don't like David Paulides. It's not bad at all. I think he's doing great work. I think he's very interesting, and I think he's a pioneer. But you know that the process of research is one of peer review.
Yeah.
So like, if nobody was checking David, then he wouldn't be somebody you can take seriously.
Yeah.
What we're saying 9 times out of 10 is that the story David Paulides told is mostly accurate.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we respect him enough to not just mooch off of his work. We want to add to it and push it forward.
If all we were doing was repeating the stuff he said, then there wouldn't be any point in us having a channel.
Yeah, because just go read his books then.
Yeah,
or check out his YouTube channel. Yeah, like we're we're actually interested in doing the investigation and like finding details that may have been missed.
This week's video that's coming out is on Charles McCuller. There's a lot of stuff that you don't get in most of the retellings of this story.
Yep.
Certainly not any I've seen.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Goodbye.
Dan Little 2010 for $2 said, "Please read this comment. Thank you."
Oh,
you're welcome.
Okay.
Then Volar Buffalo for $5. Thank you. Said, weirdest version of Bigfoot in your opinion? In my opinion, it's the Mogollon monster. But I'm sure there's weirder ones. 10 out of 10 content. Keep up the great work.
Mogollon monster. I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Yeah, but what's
the weirdest version of Bigfoot? Skunk Ape's definitely a weird one. The Tree People from Tennessee. These things they're typically pretty like consistent, you know? I mean, definitely the weirdest Bigfoot story I've heard is the person who claims that he was abducted by a family of big feet.
Oh, interesting.
And that he spent a night in their camp, and that they were like a family with a father, a mother, and a juvenile, and that they communicated and all that. And he claims that he spent the entire night there. And then escaped while they were sleeping.
Interesting.
His version of them is much more similar to the traditional Bigfoot, like, 9 foot tall ape covered in hair.
Yep.
And less the Sasquatch kind of idea.
Fair. LightningRed.e for $5 said, "Hey guys, love your content. You should check out Mike Winger or Ray Comfort."
Sure. I can look into him.
Yeah. Young Volio for $5 said, "Get Wendigoon to be the Wendigo's lawyer." I was thinking either that or he'd be the judge. Oh my God. We got to figure out. We never
see the judge like above the neck for the entire thing.
Yeah, and then at the very end, it's just like not guilty, and it's just like everybody's in an uproar, and it pans up to be Wendigoon, and
then he goes, "It's Trip. It's different."
Yeah.
We're signing Isaiah up for this already.
Yep. It's like, what do you mean? Like that? This is heresy, and then it pans up. And he's like, "It was a giant." Dan Little 2010 for $2 said, "Purple frosted tips, please."
Oh God.
Maybe. We'll see. Time will tell. Problematic Farmer for $10 said, "Donating for the Frosted Tips Fund." Fair enough. I think
they're not going to get it.
Oh, that's a heart. I thought it was the shake hands emoji, which is objectively the best emoji. Pumpkin Bear 7 for $1.99 said, "Are you coming down here? Or when are you coming down here?"
I'm not entirely sure where down here is. I feel like I should know that, but I don't. So
fair. Norberto Rodriguez Jr. for $2 said, "Why are the national parks where they are?"
Officially, because those are beautiful landscapes that were either entirely or mostly unsettled, and they figured it was better to preserve the area before they were settled than to push people out later.
Yep.
That is the ostensible reason for it.
Real reason? We're gonna find out.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Mr. Autobot 390 for $5 said, "Hey guys, don't have a question about the subject. Just wanted to ask if you guys seen The Last of Us on HBO Max. If so, thoughts? Not yet, but I keep having so many people tell me that I need to watch it that I'm going to find some time to block out to watch it eventually because I heard episode 3 is fantastic and I love Ron Swanson, so I want to see that."
I've heard it's very good. I plan to watch it, but also part of me wants to play the game.
Fair.
So I'm not sure if I want to ruin the story for myself.
Also, I love how Pedro Pascal has just consistently gotten like the best roles ever. Like at just every show he does. Fearless Kitten from $9.99 said, "Being from PA, have you guys heard of the Welsh Mountains in Lancaster County at all?"
The term sounds familiar. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Is it something that's our kind of something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'll look up if it's something.
I don't know. Young Volio for $20 said, "I'm saying it for someone else. Hit the gritty for us."
I don't know how to hit the gritty, but I will try to learn
like,
for you.
You do that, and then it's like that or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really do it. I have friends who can do it. I can't really do it.
Prominence, 182 feet. Not really much of a mountain.
No, that's less of a mountain than Valley Forge Mountain.
It might be less of a mountain than the one we're currently, like, the one between us and Phoenixville.
Yeah. Russell the Outlaw for $5 said, "Paint the plaque blue, attach a stick, and fight the Wendigo." For real, though, I've been there since the first podcast. Love to see the growth. Keep it up.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Thank you, Russell. Yeah, it's got...
Russell, were you the bone tree guy?
Don't touch the bone.
I feel like Russell was the bone tree guy.
That sounds familiar. Because I know the name. I recognize the name. And I'm glad you've stuck around this long.
Russell was either the bone tree guy or the guy that went out to some sort of bluff and thought he got attacked like by a skinwalker.
Russell, remind us who you are. Young Volio for $5 said, "Dono Goal get kicked by Joe Rogan."
I mean, sure. For $5,000, I'd take a Joe Rogan kick.
Ooh, I'm going to have to work out my core a bit to be able to take that on. Jeez.
You and I are going to be at the gym just like taking turns, punching each other in the stomach over and over again.
You got to build up that strength.
Take the guitars and just whack each other.
I mean, it's basically going to be the same feeling, probably.
Yeah.
Sir Baka Butt Crisp for $10 said, "I wonder if you've heard any interesting insects like cryptids. Though you despise spiders and Gibbophophy is the norm for cryptid bugs, just a bug but bigger."
Yes, I have come across them. I do not tend to go past the scrolling very quickly past it on Google stage because I just do not handle bugs well. So if you want to do a bug cryptid, go for it. Or if you want to do the research and give it to me.
Yeah,
I just don't want to see the bugs.
That would, honestly, that'd be hilarious if it's just me in the screen and my opener is, "Aiden doesn't like bugs, so I'm here today." Cuts to the opening. I could do that.
Xenomorph lore.
I'm game. Young Volio for $2 said, "Let Deltron pet the dog."
Who's Deltron?
I don't know. Might be someone who didn't super chat.
Maybe.
Fair enough.
I mean, if we ever do like live meet and greets, I'll probably bring Archie.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
So people can pet him.
Yeah.
Probably at the point where we could host that and a decent number of people would show up.
Probably, yeah. Probably be worth it. Let us know if you guys want us to do that. Dono Goal? Maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Christian Bennett. Hi, Christian. For $4.20. Hi there.
That's my stepdad.
Hello, sir. Creativa Artley sent...
He said hi there and sent 420.
Yeah. Christian? Yeah.
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 Like, I didn't realize it was high like that.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I was just going to let it, like, ride, but... Creativa Artley for $4.99 and $1.99. I don't know if your message didn't go through. There was another $1.99 there. I don't know if your message didn't go through, but...
Sent 3 or 4 of them. So, I mean... Send it again, but if there was a message and you weren't just donating, then
Oh, well, said you nailed my OC name. Thank you. I'm glad I got it right.
Yeah, if there was something you were trying to say, send it in the chat, not as a super chat, and we'll...
yeah, we'll find it. We'll figure it out.
We'll check and answer it. But if you were just donating, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Pumpkin Bear 7 for $1.99 said, "Thoughts on the Honey Island swamp monster?" Swamp monster, but it's, I assume, swamp.
So for those of you who are in the Discord, I created another
Created cryptid.
channel called the Tip Line.
Yeah.
I'm gonna create one as well, I think, for this kind of thing, because that way I at least have somewhere I can go and look at all of the suggestions.
Fair.
I would say, like, we'll do things as Patreon suggestions, but I'm so bad about checking Patreon and we don't have help.
Great Tivar at least said it wouldn't send in the message in the wouldn't send the message through any weird cryptids in Alabama and Virginia.
That's so weird that it wouldn't send that.
Yeah, I don't know why that didn't go through. Sorry about
I
that.
feel like the Flatwoods monster is Virginia. Nalucephalia shows up in Alabama.
Have we done a video on either of those?
We've done videos where I've talked about both, but
Yeah.
not where we've done a dedicated video, just because there's so little information.
Got it.
But Nalucephalia is a shadowy creature that lurks in the forests of former Cherokee and Choctaw and Chickasaw territory.
Yep.
So the American South.
Okay.
So that is one that you would come across. It's basically just the name, if I remember correctly, means the long shadow.
Interesting.
And according to the stories, if you pass through its woods, it does not let you out of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't love the sound of that. That Dexy guy for $5 said, "Good night table, good night moon, good night Chinese spy balloon." I couldn't think of a good question, but here's $5. To be honest with you, that's better than a question. Thank you.
And officially today, I think, right? Good night, Chinese spy balloon.
Numero tres.
I think they shot it down today.
There were 3.
There were 3?
Yeah.
Did we shoot all 3 down?
Uh-huh. Today was the 3rd. I remember because it was I saw a video about it. It was like they shot down the 3rd one today, and one of the comments was, "When was the 2nd one?"
Yeah, like I remember there being 1.
Yeah.
What do you mean they shot down 3?
But
Huh?
yeah. And the China's getting mad at us. They're like, "You're violating things." And we're
Yeah,
like,
China's
"What
like,
do you mean?"
hey, it was a civilian weather balloon, and we're like, no, it wasn't.
No.
Like,
No shot. You don't let civilians live normal lives.
also,
in
if it
your
was a
country.
civilian weather balloon, why are you angry that we shot it down, guys? Like,
sure.
Come on. I swear to God, the Chinese like propaganda that you see on like Twitter and whatever, like Chinese propaganda accounts, they seem to think Americans have the same lack of information of the outside world that Chinese people do.
Nope.
And like we don't have a heavily censored internet like that.
Nope.
So they'll say stuff and you're just sitting there like,
We get
they'll
straight.
be like, you Americans need to fix your racism problem before you start talking about our slavery problem. And we're like, first of all, you're committing a genocide right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
we fixed the slavery problem. We can criticize
we,
your
exactly.
slavery
Like, we
problem.
fixed the slavery problem. That's why we have the racism problem.
Yeah.
It's like this is the problem that's a result of that problem.
Yeah.
You guys haven't fixed the slavery problem yet.
Yeah. We're like, at least we're making steps in the right direction. You guys are just like, you're not even taking the first baby step. Come on now. Agamemnon's gym bag for $5 said, "Mr. Jones by the Counting Crows was written about Alex. They're all in on it."
Could you imagine?
Mr. Jones and I can't remember all the lyrics, but that would
I'm going
be...
to look up the lyrics to Mr. Jones right now because that would be a good parody.
Honestly, yeah, but
Like-
sing the whole thing like him.
Yeah. That's not really what I was thinking.
My favorite color is gray. While I was down in New Amsterdam, staring at this yellow-haired girl, Mr. Jones strikes up a conversation with a black-haired flamenco dancer. She dances while his father plays guitar. She's suddenly beautiful. And we all want something beautiful. Man, I wish I was beautiful.
There we go. That's,
Incredible. That'll be another donut goal, is him doing a cover of that song as Alex Jones. The Slippery Cheezel for $20 said,
Cut up, Maria. Show me some of them Spanish dances.
honestly, yeah, the more you do, the more I can see it. Just wanted to send more money to say thank you.
we could probably deep fake it.
Oh my God, you're right. Archie, come on.
What's he doing?
Come here, baby. Come on. You just want to sit there and
I
get...
just saw a random chat. The flesh pedestrian keeps appearing at my window in the middle of the night and asking me for Yeezys. Please send help. Have you told the flesh pedestrian that Kanye is canceled?
You might want to let him know, because so that way he knows. Well, come on.
I mean, we don't want the flesh pedestrian to get canceled as well.
Come on. There you go. No, but we should probably let him know that if he's asking for Yeezys, he should know that they're worth a lot less now. They're not a good investment anymore. Yeah, Slippery Cheezel for Australian 20 said, just wanted to send more money to say thank you for reading my super chat.
Oh, of
Also
course.
wanted to add that I found your channel from Wendigoon's Missing 411 video.
course.
Love what you guys do. Keep up the good work. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. The Caffeinated with a
And of
K.
course, we do try to read all of the super chats. We had to not read all the super chats on Weird Bible because we got so many.
So many.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a lot.
Oh, yeah. The Caffeinated with a K for $5 said, the weirdest Bigfoot for me is David Paulides, and secretly is a Bigfoot psyop. I mean...
He just wants to tell us about his people.
He's the smallest of the big feet and got kicked out because of it.
He's half Bigfoot.
Yes.
He's like Hagrid.
And now he's...
Is Hagrid a Bigfoot?
Oh, that's what this channel is going to degrade into in 5 years.
And down here is New Orleans.
I want to get down
I'd
there
go to
for-
New Orleans.
When's Mardi Gras again? What?
Go to New Orleans and do a video on the Rougarou.
Oh, that'd be fun. Young Volio said, for $5, Isaiah would go blind with power if he was the judge. You're not wrong. That was probably a bad idea on my part.
I can't give him that much power, dude.
No. Tony Vocal Squirrel Punk M ... Unfortunately, I can't read the entirety of your name. For $5 said donation goal idea, an Archie Cam video. Strap a GoPro to him and share his adventures.
We've been discussing Archie Cam for a long time now. I think we probably could do a deeper lore segment where we just put a camera on Archie.
Yeah.
Problem is Archie lives a pretty sedentary lifestyle because I don't have a backyard.
Yep.
So he only really goes on adventures when I take him for walks.
Yep.
But I could like take him for a walk in Valley Forge and strap a GoPro to him.
Yeah, that'd be
have
fun.
a GoPro. Has a scratch on it.
I'm sorry. We learned. The Asher for $5 said, going to visit some family in northern Texas and specifically on Comanche land. Thoughts?
What? Comanche land? I don't actually have a ton of Comanche folklore knowledge. They're a group I've been meaning to look back into, though, because like them and the Apache. The Apache are similar to the Navajo, but the Comanche are one that I definitely need to do some stuff on.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun stuff. We did some Native American history. Doesn't get taught very often.
TL Lancaster for $2 said, any plans on more monster profile videos? Yeah, we were just talking about this before the show, actually.
Yes, we are planning on them. Part of the issue that we're running into is the videos that we have that do best are always the Missing 411 videos. We want to make sure that we don't royally screw up the algorithm again by making videos that YouTube doesn't recognize as being our show's content.
Yep.
So if we do go back to like doing some of the folklore videos and interspersing them, which is what we want to do because we're going to run out of Missing 411 cases.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure that people actually watch them.
Yep.
So probably going to start interspersing them again, like maybe once a month.
Yep.
And then hopefully go back to making more of them because I do love doing those videos. They're a lot of fun.
We have literally a whole backlog of dozens that we want to do coverage on.
We're just worried about how the algorithm's going to handle that.
Yeah, because last time we tried to branch out with anything like History Hut, which we now have its own channel for.
Yeah, it just tanked.
Yeah, it just like it made us stagnate for like what, 8 months.
Yeah,
it was rough. Anyway,
hopefully now we've got enough subscribers and enough watch time that it won't stagnate like that. But we want to make sure that things are solid.
Russell said, no, I'm the bluff guy, but I remember the Bone Tree guy. Yeah, do we know what happened to the Bone Tree guy?
I feel like we haven't heard from Bone Tree guy in a while.
Should we be concerned about the Bone Tree guy?
Should I email Bone Tree guy?
I think you should.
I should email Bone Tree guy.
Yeah. Sir Baka Butt Crisp for $5 said, just point me in the right direction. I am Brock in the Discord.
I assume that's about
the tip line, probably.
That or one of the like hiking trips or something. Like,
fair, yeah. Adventure Jar for $3 said, put your ear to Archie. Can you hear the ocean?
No, you just kind of hear a dial tone.
It's the AOL sound of it booting up for
the dial-up sound. Yeah.
Randaroo26 for $49.99. Thank you very much.
That was very generous of you.
Love y'all's content. Finally caught a stream live. So happy I did. Here's to Purple Frosted Tips. People really love controlling your hair.
People really want me to have the frosted tips.
Yep. Hang on. Well, we're definitely doing. We're definitely bringing back Lore Lounge as of right now.
All right, nice.
So
easy enough.
Yeah.
Probably won't be till March because the schedule I have this month. But
Yeah, fair. DJ Talks Randomly for $5 said 2 things. 1, I sent y'all an email.
we
at the end
also
of
need to
November.
get lore. We need to get deeper lore monetized first.
Yeah, true.
So it needs 4,000 watch hours.
I'm gonna upload. I know I'm gonna upload my my Thornberry Thursday video that I did of the Bomber Mafia. So I'll re-upload that. If you guys want to see a video that I did on just something random that I had an interest in, that'll be up in the next week on Deeper Lore, and I'll post it in the Discord as well.
Cool. I'll also be posting some some Twitch highlight streams and stuff like that. So it'll have content.
Yeah, it'll be a whole broad spectrum of everything. Anyway, DJ Talks Randomly for $5 said 2 things. 1, I sent y'all an email at the end of November. Did y'all see it? Apologies, it was very weird. So 2,
I'm gonna be honest. End of November was a weird time for us.
Yep.
So it's entirely possible I missed it. I will be going back through and looking at emails.
Yep.
I do it every few weeks. Just because we've got so many other avenues of people messaging us. But I will go look at it.
and then part 2 is when does Archie run for POTUS?
Well, he's still a little underage. He can't run until next cycle.
We'll support him when he does.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, we'd be his running managers.
Yeah, I would be his press secretary for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The Foxo Gaming for $2 said, any cryptids in Middle Tennessee other than Wendigo?
He's in Eastern Tennessee.
I know, but
Yeah, that would be tree people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Isaiah was telling us about the tree people. They are also called tree knockers.
and you talked about that in the Pharaoh
Yeah,
video, right?
he discusses them as being slightly taller than the average man, 7 to 8 feet, often covered in matted gray, black, or brown hair, and that they communicate in the woods by knocking on trees, which is likely not the only way they can communicate, but rather a method they devised to communicate without vocalization. And that they have been known to be both helpful and hostile.
Yeah.
In that sometimes they will return lost children to their parents, and sometimes they will take lumbermen and eat them.
Well, at least they're kind to kids.
Sometimes. It seems to really depend on the specific tree person you run into, based on what he was telling us.
Not unlike humans.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Teague for $9.99.
That was it?
Yep.
Well, thank you, Teague.
Thank you. Young Volio for $5 said, do you think David Paulides does Pilates?
Brock was talking about doing the bug cryptid research for us.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Go on.
Yeah, Young Volio said, do you think David Paulides does Pilates?
David Pilates?
David Pilates does Pilates? I hope so. What?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. The dude does seem to be
here.
in great shape.
Come here.
Archie, you are just desperate for attention.
He
this
really is, isn't he?
Yeah,
go to Papa.
Come see.
Slippery Cheezel for $20 said, I just thought of a random question completely unrelated to Missing 411 or anything like that. How did you guys come up with the channel name?
It was a combination of things. I'm a Freemason,
Yeah.
and we meet in lodges.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a Satanist. No, I don't drink children's blood.
No.
I wish we were cooler.
It was literally, wasn't us just sitting on the couch, just kind of.
No, it was that somebody asked, once I got my first 15,000 TikTok followers,
Yeah.
one of our friends sarcastically asked if I was going to go join the Hype House. And I was like, well, it couldn't be the Hype House. It would have to be something more related to what I talk about, the Lore Lodge.
Yeah. There we go.
18 months later. Somebody said, tell Archie we love him. Archie, the people adore you.
Do you believe it? He doesn't seem convinced.
He's okay. Do you want Chewy? After the show.
Yes. And then we have that Dexy guy for $2 said it's average foot. Yep. Young Golio for $5 said, any Oregon cryptids?
Also Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was a chart I found. We were talking about doing this at one point of the best known cryptid from all 50 states.
Mhm.
I think that would be a good video.
Yeah. Yeah,
Maybe
that'd
we
be
would do it
fun.
in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're going to need more than a minute to talk about each one.
True.
Let's do that. Let's break the country up into regions.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
the cryptids of each region, yeah. And then Young Golio for $2 said, do you get a free mason jar for being a mason?
No, they make us pay for all our own jars. It's really rude.
It's unfortunate.
I did have a meeting. I mentioned this on Twitch the other day. I had a meeting with our district deputy grandmaster. We're going to get to do a video where we're going to do a tour through the Grand Lodge, the temple in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be cool.
So we're going to get to show you all 12 lodge rooms that are in there and tell you the story behind each one, where the mistake is in each one.
I'm excited to video that. When are we doing that?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
But this year.
Okay, cool. Because I want to get the stabilizer before
Yeah.
we do that. Vanitas Manga Reviews said, I didn't touch the bone tree, but it touched me. We've found him, sir. We've found the man. Glad to know you're still alive. If that is in fact
I don't think
you.
that's the person, though.
I was going to say, if
don't remember
that is
being
in fact you.
Squawk.
Squawk.
Grand Lodge tour will be fun.
Yeah.
Alex Katori. Oh, we missed him, apparently.
I was rewatching the last winter, and it mentioned the Wendigo. Was wondering if you guys have seen it. No, haven't even heard of it. Unfortunately.
Oh God! Oh, your breath. He's getting his teeth cleaned.
Oh,
We're getting him a
good for the boy.
We're getting him oral surgery to fix his smelly breath. In May.
Agamemnon's gym bag for $5 said that's exactly what somebody who is a Satanist and does drink children's blood would say.
I don't listen. I don't know what to tell you guys. I promise there's no child sacrificing going on. Like,
what can we say? Ah, right. Bone Tree guy was Will S. Thank you, S.
yes.
And then Ben Krajniak, I hope that was correct, for $10 said, sorry I'm late, I just got out of work. Do you know if any Michigan cryptids...
I mean, the Dogman's the most famous one. The Dogman is Michigan
Also
and
love
Wisconsin. Yeah, and of course we love Archie.
You have to love Archie.
Land Between the Lakes. Look that up. Land Between the Lakes.
Land Between the Lakes.
Yeah, it's a state park, I think. Where is it?
That is... Kentucky.
Kentucky.
That's what it looks like, KY.
Maybe I found it as a similar story then. But yeah, there's a bunch of stories about the Dogman up there. Stories about the Adlet kind of match those, as well as the Palmyra Wolf story.
Mm-hmm.
So there seems to be some pretty broad-reaching Canadian and northern United States folktales about dog creatures, like human-sized bipedal dog creatures. So that's an interesting one that comes up a lot. As far as... You did not say it right.
Ben saying you did not say it right. Try again. I said
You said Krajniak, right?
Krajniak first.
Krajniak? Krajnik?
Krajniak?
I'm saying Krajnik. That's what I'm going to guess. Krajnik. But yeah, as far as Michigan goes, I think the Dogman's the most common,
Krajnik,
popular
maybe.
one. The Wendigo would also fit based on the location. Yeah, I think we just need to... One thing I was working on, and I just, like, it kind of fell to the wayside, was an actual almanac of North American folklore. And I need to just get back on that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought about trying to do that for my dissertation, or my thesis, but my university is less than willing to give me leeway on things. So...
Fair. Quattro said, pull up and we'll fight the Bunny Man in Nova.
The Bunny Man of North Virginia?
Probably.
All right. Quattro, you were supposed to come up here a couple weeks ago to see PJ's band play, and you didn't do it. Shame. Even he came.
How rude. What do you mean even I came?
I don't know. It's hard to get you out to things sometimes.
That's fair.
Kraniak?
Slippery Cheesel for $20.
Okay, well, it's not our fault that your name has a silent J.
That's on you.
Who has a silent J?
Sweaty J? No, that's very much not silent.
Jesse J?
Sweaty J's fan club? Come on.
What?
Sweaty J's fan club.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
The Eagles thing.
Huh?
Come on. Sweaty J.
I think he's just making things up at this point, to be perfectly
Look
honest.
it up. Hang on. You'll see. Stop digging into that. Archie. Attaboy.
Slippery Cheesel. I'm going to make this my last donation because I'm going to end up making myself broke. Do you know of any missing Form 1 cases to do with or related to celebrities? There was an actor that just went missing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's his name?
I can't remember, but he just went missing near LA. It was in
Jonathan Brown? Was that it? Julian Sands.
Yes.
Where do you go missing?
It was...
Because this is one I've been keeping my eye on in case it turns up being weird.
the San Gabriel Mountains north of Los Angeles.
Yeah, so that's one I'm keeping an eye on as far as people went missing. There's also I think the Prime Minister of Australia who went swimming and then disappeared completely. DB Cooper, not a politician or a celebrity, but another weird high profile case.
Yep.
There's some that I'm looking into. The thing about celebrity cases is that they usually do get investigated as much as they possibly can because they're such high profile people. So celebrities, politicians, they tend to just be found.
Yep.
Like, you know, when you think of people who went missing and never came back, there's like that prime minister, Julian Sands, apparently, Amelia Earhart.
She's not missing. She's just still flying.
She never came down.
Yes,
Yes,
that's anytime I think of Amelia Earhart, that just brings me right back to nonsense time for anybody who actually
nonsense time
was in
Oh
on
my
that.
God.
The Amelia Earhart update.
When did it end?
Nonsense time?
Yeah,
Never did.
it's still going.
Well, I mean, we haven't done it in like over
okay.
a year, but you know, it's always nonsense time. Yeah, the Amelia Earhart update. They haven't found her yet, but we're still looking.
Did you do that every show?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was great. Anyway, Miles Bonham for $5 said, would you find it scarier if cryptids were real or if the government was behind all of the missing 411 cases? Also, do you know of any central PA cryptids?
The government's already scary, man.
Yeah,
Like,
fair.
if you came to me tomorrow with definitive proof that the government was who was kidnapping people in the national parks, I would be like, all right, that's not even remotely surprising.
Yep.
Like that tracks.
Yep. Yep.
So I would find it significantly more scary if there were actually a Wendigo out there. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's, you know, the government I can be mean to. I can harass politicians. In fact, you should harass politicians, even if you agree with them. Just, you know, we won't need to institute term limits if we bully them out of office.
Yeah, writing a letter to your congressman doesn't have to be like a nice letter. I mean, you'll probably like
In
do
fact,
well if you
write
did.
letters to your congresspeople, but make them as unhinged as you possibly can.
Without getting yourself
Well,
in
yeah,
jail.
obviously don't get yourself in trouble, but, you know, like, write a letter to your congressman about how big orange juice is hiding, like, unlimited source of vitamin C from us.
Yes, but also try and make sure that like you're not going to make them stop looking at mail.
True.
Like, because we need them to take us seriously.
Every time, like, some government agency sets up, like, a snitch line, I love how people collectively agree to just, like, send it dick pics.
This is news.
Like, there was
to
a
me.
COVID tip line for, like, reporting people who weren't wearing their masks in New York or something, and people just sent it dick pics.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
great.
incredible. Quattro498 said, Element, my bad, I had work, but when's the next one I'm pulling up to and I get it off? What?
What?
When's the next
Who's he
one
getting
y'all
off?
pulling up to and I'll get it off?
Oh, okay. The next, like, show or something.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, no, I see what he was referring to now.
Yeah.
Ryan Whitcup says, Mothman is where I live. Ypsilanti?
But
Ypsilanti, I assume that's Michigan?
Michigan. Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Oh, I did get it right. Ypsilanti. I didn't see the pronunciation at the end there.
Isn't Mothman Point Pleasant, West Virginia?
I don't know. You did the video.
You filmed and edited them. If you're filming and editing these and not learning anything from them, I am astonished that you made it this far in life.
No, I remember the bridge story from it. We did that a while ago.
Yeah, true. It was a long time ago.
Agamemnon's gym bag for $2 said, any plan to cover the giant of Kandahar?
We can. Yeah, I mean, might as well. Yeah, we can do that. I am looking at some Afghan folk tales about giants.
Why not?
There are biblical stories of the Rephaim from even after the flood, who were an especially large race of men, but, like, you know, 7 feet tall, not.
Somebody said what happened with the Gabby Petito case. I'm not gonna lie, on my YouTube recommended, somebody just put out a video within the last week, and it already has 900,000 views about the Gabby Petito case, and I'm like, I'm sorry, why and how?
From what channel?
I can't remember. It was not one that I was subscribed to. Hang on, I'll
Yeah, look up Gabby Petito on YouTube, because I'm curious who managed that one. Is
that
it?
one.
48 Hours?
Yep.
Oh, well, it's a documentary.
Is this like a? I'm not familiar with them. Is this like a actual like thing?
I mean, based on the fact that the channel has 462,000, it's CBS News.
Oh, what? Where does it say that?
48 Hours on CBS News.
Oh, got it. That'll do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's CBS News, I'm not really surprised it got more views than ours.
Yeah, fair.
I wonder what the untold part of the story is, considering I have more information than they do. From better sources, but okay. Maybe they're telling like her, the story of who she was when she was younger. But
I think one thing
also,
that
who are these people that are being interviewed? Because
we gotta start actually getting interviews with people.
yeah, I know. Well, TJ is going to come on the show eventually. That he just can't talk to us like without running stuff by their lawyer until the case is over.
No, I know. I mean like just in general.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I'm coming back to this. Slippery Cheezel for $20 said, "Do you remember the Prime Minister's name that went missing in Australia?"
Cheezel, you said you were going to stop before you go broke.
Don't go broke. Be financially responsible. As much
We'll
as we
check it if
appreciate
it's a $2 super chat. It doesn't have to be a $20 one.
Yeah. Australia and myself have honestly never heard of the case. By the way, I know I lied about the last one being my final donation, but I promise this time we should have.
We appreciate it. But
yes.
yeah, I do not remember his name. If somebody in the chat wants to look for that, you'd like a redo of Gabby Petito? We just did it in November.
Is there really any new information?
No. No, there's nothing new.
Just go watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, I assume you didn't see the one from November. There hasn't been any updates, and nothing's really changed about our quality.
I mean, that one's in 1080, not 4K, but
That's literally it. Is we have a 4K camera now.
Yeah.
Other than that video is the same quality as the rest of them.
Yeah. I mean, the research is the same. I mean,
there's literally nothing else I can add to it at this point.
Yeah.
Once we get an update from her family, I will.
Yeah.
But until then, unfortunately, there's just nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I'll have to edit them, but I can release my notes on the case on Patreon.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Also, I am so sorry I am late with the Drunk Folklore video. It will go up tonight immediately after the show. If you are not subbed on Patreon, check it out. Just $1 a month. You can get some exclusive content. We're going to get better about it. We're going to be filming another Drunk Folklore this month. And every month. They'll probably also be like Drunk Folklore, Drunk History. Like,
yeah.
We'll switch off because I know a lot of history.
Yeah. It's easier for you to go off the cuff with history than...
Yeah, if you sit me down and you're like, tell me about Charlemagne, I'd be like, all right, now here's a guy.
Oh, by the way, I hope
you guys appreciated
that.
The Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, that was great. That was fun. Young Golio for $5 say, can you guys tell Raylan that I'm the real DB Cooper?
Who's Raylan?
That's a great question. Pumpkin Bear said, did you see my dog story?
I don't know where you put it, but no, I have not. This is why we're looking into hiring a communications person. I have a couple of candidates, but that's kind of a plan. Is we're gonna have somebody who like every day consolidates and gives us the stuff we need to respond to, and then handles sending it back to you.
Yep.
So we're working on that because what we need is there needs to be one inbox where I get curated messages.
Yep.
So that I can respond to them, and then somebody else will go onto whatever platform it came into. So what I want to do is I want to have somebody whose job it is to, each afternoon check through, send me an email with a list of things. I will then reply to all those things in one email, and then that person will go and send them out to the people who asked.
Going through everything individually just takes too much time.
It takes too much time, and I get confused and lost. And
we want to make sure that people are getting the correct responses and the right amount of attention as they deserve. It's just when everything is so mismatched as it is now, it's confusing and it's easy to get things wired. Aaron Krisky for $10 said, "Hi, big fan and love the content. Do you know of any missing 401 cases or cryptids in southern Utah?"
Oh, you said Utah.
You're in Skinwalker Central, buddy.
Oh yeah.
That is. There's also there's Bobby Bizup. There is Garrett Bardsley.
Yep.
We just covered Garrett Bardsley. Bobby Bizup is another one we should do.
Yep.
It's definitely
putting
another
that on
one.
the
Yeah, but Skinwalkers. We just did a video in the fall on the differences between the Skinwalker and the Wendigo. Probably going to do another video about internet folklore creatures that seem to be derived from those two soon. So going to be covering the Rake, the Fleshgate, the internet version of the Goat Man, and probably also what was the fourth one that was coming to mind? SCP-96.
Whoa.
What?
Plaz just said he was going through the Gabby Petito vids, and apparently there's a Spirit Box one. Seems really wrong.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Can you send that to us? Because I will make a point of
Responding about that.
I'll do a reaction video on Twitch, and we'll edit that together and then post that, because that's not cool.
No.
That
just sounds really disrespectful.
Especially because unless they went to the spot where she died,
yeah. Oh, Cheezel's back at it.
Cheezel!
Be fiscally responsible, and that's coming from someone who is rather fiscally irresponsible.
He bought a Camaro before he had a job.
No, I had the job.
You had been offered the job. You had accepted the job. I don't think you had yet received a paycheck.
I had.
You had?
3.
You would receive 3 paychecks?
Yes.
Oh, well, good for you.
Thank you.
How are you getting to work during that time?
Work from home, mainly. Or I was taking my parents' car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was still living at home, so.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yep.
It's been a weird 2 years.
It has. It really has.
Very weird to think about that when all this started, I was going to be going to Wales for a master's program, and you worked on a farm.
Yep. Yeah, for you guys, to deep lore there. After college, I went home, and this was like just as COVID was starting to end. I was working on a farm doing manual labor, and and you were doing marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it wild?
I was sitting here kind of laughing about how my old job, the part of my job I liked least was social media management. And now all I do is social media. It's my life 24/7.
I feel like it just warped from I was living in Manhattan, going to college, studying film. Swoop! I'm living at home, working on a farm. Swoop! I'm running a YouTube channel and working as a producer for commercials. And director, writer, producer for commercials.
It's been a very strange 2 years.
Yeah. 4 years at this point.
Yeah. Well, I remember 18 months ago, we were getting 50 viewers on these, and now we have 500.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
There was a point, actually, we initially got 80 viewers, then it dropped, and then it dropped again.
Yep.
There was a time when we were doing this show to 30 people.
Yep.
So thank you all for being here.
Yeah, seriously. It was
all 2,182 people who have viewed this tonight at some point or another.
Much appreciated. Yeah, it is. It's weird because this time last year, we were averaging 50.
This time last year, we were figuring out how to split up $1,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
There's been $519 tonight.
Yep.
So that's wild.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, thank you guys. You make this possible for us to do this show, for us to keep going.
We keep wanting to give you as good a quality as possible. One thing that we've talked about is having an Archie cam during the show. It's just 2 issues there. 1, we need a new camera and how to figure that out with the setup. And 2, he moves around.
He does. Most of the show, he's over underneath my other desk where I do my Twitch streams and everything.
Yeah.
Right now, he's by the door.
Yeah. So
we need to put him in a box.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd like that very much.
No, we want to let him roam. We got more.
There will be a dedicated Archie cam at some point, though.
Yes.
I promise.
Yes.
Ben. Did Cheezel say something else?
Franny?
Are we sure?
No, somebody said something about Cheezel. No, well, Cheezel said, oh yeah, don't worry, I won't go broke. I was only joking about that. Besides, I'm sure you can put the money to better use than I can. I would just end up wasting it on junk, so I thought it would be better in your pocket than mine.
Probably go towards paying off the new Lormobile.
Yeah. And that's not even a joke.
No.
And then Ben said, I think Cheezel should be less fiscally responsible. Careful. Careful. Don't
I think
incentivize
Cheezel
him.
should be fiscally responsible as much as Cheezel needs to be fiscally responsible.
Yes. And then Young Volio. Fiscally. Young Volio for 20 said, I'm in a draining my bank account speedrun with Cheezel.
Stop. We do plan to give back eventually. We plan to start a scholarship fund.
Yes. We're going to actually have a lore lodge that people can visit.
We just need to be comfortable first.
Yeah, we need a foundation before we can create other buildings for other people.
I didn't even know there was a Los Angeles National Forest.
Yeah, I think that's where the guy...
Your favorite word is apparently yup.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess you say yup a lot.
Oh, I guess.
I will look into the LA National Forest thing. That's what we have the tip line channel for in the Discord, is if you have names, if you have places you want us to check out, toss it in there, and I will go take a look. We've got stuff planned, I think, for the next 2 weeks at least, though. Right?
What?
We have an idea. We have an idea for... We're doing Charles McCullers this week. What was next week? We had talked about it.
You were going to do a cryptid one, weren't you?
Yeah, I think that was the plan.
I can't remember which one you were leaning towards, though.
I don't remember either. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Jack wishes to know any 401k. Oh, yeah, you just said that. Okay. All right. Interesting.
But, with that, it is almost 9 p.m.
They're doing a yup chain.
They're doing a yup chain. And since there's a yup... Oh, boy, there's another one.
Dropping some coin as a thank you for making my 12-hour work days better with the show.
Oh, thank you.
We're glad
we were able to take up 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. It's time for us to hop off and get ready for our weeks. I've got a long week ahead of me.
Same.
I have to drive to Kentucky this week.
Yeah.
Then I have to fly to Kentucky in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Or sorry, Tennessee.
You're flying back down?
Tennessee is for the thing I was telling you about.
Right. Tell me later.
Okay, yeah.
We got one more.
Southeast PA.
Oh wait, we got 2 actually.
Oh boy.
Assassin 71.
Stop! We're trying to do the outro. Stop giving us money.
Assassin 71 say anything in Florida.
No, seriously, thank you. But like
anything in Florida besides skeletons and smelly foot.
What? What was that one?
Up higher. Oh, there you go.
Skunk Ape. We covered the Skunk Ape.
Yes.
There's also some just general nonsense down there. But yeah, Skunk Ape, we have a video on. I will do some more research into Florida stuff. Part of the reason, like, that people will ask stuff, and I would love to give you guys better answers, but I really do write the stuff down and then research it later.
Yep.
Because I'm the only one doing any of the research right now.
Yep.
He's gonna help me once we have once he no longer needs a day job. Let's see. What else we got?
Toboggan for $5 said, "Hey guys from Southeast PA myself. Hello, brother. Any cryptids known to the Shenandoah mountain range? I go there every fall."
Are the Shenandoah separate from the Appalachians?
I don't think so.
It's part of the Appalachians, right?
Should be. And then
that would be the Wendigo, Tree People, other eldritch horrors unknown to man. The crawlers from The Descent are supposedly supposed to be out there. Of course, that's just a book and a movie, but there are some legends about like feral cannibal clans out there as well. The Celts brought a lot of their mythology over here. The Welsh and the Irish who settled the area. There's a plethora. But when we do the regional cryptids video, I'll probably do a video on the Appalachian states.
Okay.
Like that's probably how we'll break it up. It's like Appalachia, New England,
I feel like I'm being,
Dixie, the West Coast.
The amount of yups I'm seeing right now just feels like I'm being like the wagons
You're
are
a
circling. Oh god, I hope not. Slippery Cheese over 20 said, "This is my final donation, and I promise this time. Just wanted to say I love you guys so much."
Oh, thank you so much.
Yup from Young Volio. Yuppers.
Young Volio said yup.
Were you guys just trying to get me to say yup again?
I think so. I mean, there's a lot of yup in here, dude.
Yeah.
Russell for 2 said yuppers. Ben said you should do a 12-hour stream for 200,000 subs. I can do that.
Yeah, why not?
200,000 hour stream.
Oh my god. How many days is that?
I don't even know.
Hang on.
Well, hang on.
200,000 divided by 24.
200,000 subs.
That would be 8,333 days.
What about 200,000 minutes?
Let's find out. So
I'll let you do the math, so if you get it wrong, it's not as embarrassing.
138 days.
Okay, how long is 200,000 seconds? I'm having a moment here.
Oh, fuck me.
Don't say the F word on our stream.
Sorry. That's 55 days.
That can't be
Wait, no,
right.
55 hours.
All right, we're getting more reasonable here.
Wait. Hang on. That's seconds. That's 3,000 minutes.
Maybe we'll do like a subathon on
Yeah, it's
Twitch.
55 hours.
Okay. 200,000? 1 minute for every subscriber.
No, second.
1 second for every subscriber. Young Bolio just says yup.
Eldritch Horrors, you say? From the man from Carso? Or Carcosa?
Yes, Eldritch Horrors. Okay, so
We need to sleep.
we do.
This is
All
not
right.
the 20. This is not the 55-hour stream.
But what's that goal? Is that 2,500?
That was a 24-hour stream for
Yeah,
2,500. Yeah.
they're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
They're gonna hit that.
Yeah.
God, I hope they don't hit 5,000. Max, if they hit 5,000, I'm so sorry. I promise I won't have blue. I promise I won't have blue hair for
The free
For your dad's wedding.
$2. If you guys could do a joke video on a missing case from a movie media, what would you choose to cover? Say like The Things Arctic Group from
that was
Stephen
from-
McKinn.
Okay. Let's see. If we could do a joke video
Sorry.
on a missing case from movie/media, what would you cover? Oh, that's hard. The Arctic Group and the Thing would be good.
I can't even think of anything that would fit.
I know, I'm trying to. Honestly, I'd love to do one on the crawlers from The Descent.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
But I'd probably have to do the book version of them because the movie version just doesn't have a ton of. It's not really fleshed out.
Somebody said, "Give us Aiden the movie."
Aiden the movie.
First of all, which one? Second of all, why?
All right, to be fair, Aiden the movie based off of my adolescence would be quite a film. When we think about all of the things I did in college.
Fair.
Oh my god. Aiden.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
You know you're not supposed to drink the bong water, right? Okay.
I think that's.
I think the crawlers would be good. Also, oh my god. The inbred people from Wrong Turn.
Yes. Oh,
That could be a fun one to do, actually.
the Cloverfield monsters.
Ooh, I don't think I've seen one of the Cloverfield movies.
The first, they're really good. The first one's really good.
I think I've seen the Cloverfield Paradox. Is that the first one?
No, this is second, third one actually.
I've seen the first one.
Tell me about it. What happened?
There's a meteor hits the ground and like 3 teenagers go down to check out what's in it.
That's
superpowers.
That's the Chronicle. Great movie.
Is that not? I thought it was Cloverfield.
No, that's Chronicle. That's a great movie though. But Cloverfield is a bit different, and we should get a group of people together to watch it.
Oh, I'm
'cause
down.
It's like the perfect like
Aiden's the movie.
it's the perfect like in your 20s as a group of like friends or whatever watching a movie together because it's like very relatable.
Yeah.
It's a found footage film and everything. Yeah.
I think that's why I was mixing it up because Chronicles also.
Yeah.
All right,
Chronicle.
but Young Volio said Aiden's the movie. Oh God.
That's our channel.
Yeah. Mikey Sly said your videos are really entertaining and informal, which is a tough match to make, but you do it every time. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
When the Aiden said it's Aiden time and Aidened all over Aiden, I felt that.
That sounds like something we're gonna put in a sketch.
God. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. We will see you again on Sunday. We'll have a video for you Friday and Tuesday for
History Hut. Yeah.
History Hut.
Yep.
There'll be a new Tuesday video on History Hut.
Yes, sir.
So be ready for that. It's on Brian Baru.
Yes. Oh, use the thing.
Oh my God. You do it. Okay. You do the honors. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.